Good evening, everybody. This is Yolanda Hinton, and I'm here with Edward Everett, aka Mr. E.
I want to say
And
good
we're
afternoon
here,
to you.
of
Yeah.
course, to talk about Cristo Community Development's anti-bullying movement, our community against bullying, a call to action now. Mr. E, I'm sorry, but I'm very excited. October the 15th is right around the corner. And before I start talking about the movement, introduce yourself, tell folk a little bit about you.
I'm Ed Everett. I want to say good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for the great opportunity to come to you again. I'm Ed Everett, better known as Mr. E, known as Pastor Ed Everett, and I'm the pastor and founder of the Restoration Family Worship Center. Also, I'm the VP of sales here at CBC Christian Broadcasting Company. We're located at 5335 East Virginia Beach Boulevard in the beautiful city of Norfolk, Virginia. And yes, we got everything that you want to know, and I'm glad to be a part of.
Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, our guests will be able to join in and join us on today. We are excited because Crystal Community Development Corporation, which is a 501c3 organization founded by yours truly, Yolanda Hinton. We're here to talk about the anti bullying rally. We're talking about our anti bullying petition, all that's going to go on during the rally and beyond. We're going to talk a little bit about the book, Bullying is Right Underneath Your Nose. And hopefully, we'll have a special guest here to just talk about her experience with bullying and some of the things that she did to try to remedy the problem that she was having. Before I go on, I want to mention that Miss Ian and myself, we do a program, a show called FYI Radio Show for your information. It comes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays live on 95.3 FM, WGPL 1350 AM, WPCE 1400 AM, Facebook Live, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. All of it's live. You can also get us on the World Wide Web. You can go to CVC. You'll see us everywhere. And even on this platform, even though we're not on the radio live right now, we are live over all the social media platforms. Just join us wherever you feel like you want to go. If you want to go to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, wherever you want to go, you can meet us there.
You,
So we're excited. Again, we host FY Radio Show for your information. You know, our mission is to just motivate and inspire our listeners to rise above mere survival and find success. We have all kind of information, special guests, all kind of activities and fun. And we would love for you all to join us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9:30 a.m. So you can just be in on all the things that we do and share with our viewers and our listeners.
one of the things that you was talking about, Miss Hinton, and when you was talking about live, that's right, real time. We're on real time. It's no fake, no phony. It's that we are right there. We you can hear us 24/7 on any of your social media platforms. What we was on this morning, guess what? You can hear us this afternoon, tomorrow, the next day. YouTube, you name it. We don't have to put it in no storage. You can go back 20 days from now, 30 days from now, and you can pick up FYI Radio Show, and you don't have to put the date in it. You just go back to the day that we was on, and you'll see us live right in the studio of WPCE 1400, WGPL 1350 AM, along with 88.9 FM, our new baby. Soon you'll be able to hear us this week. I'm telling you, this week by Friday, you can pick us up on 88.9 FM Joy, Peace 95.3, and WPCE 1400, WGPL 1350, and on the World Wide Web by going to 1400 AM, 1350 AM, and ChristianBroadcastingCompany.com. Click and listen live. So,
It
listen,
is.
We got all the social platforms, so we can
Yeah.
bring you nothing but the very best.
Absolutely. It is absolutely exciting because why? We get a chance to spread the joy. We spread the peace. We spread the message. We spread inspiration and a whole lot of great things to a lot of people. It's worldwide.
That's right.
And we've been reaching out to so many people all across the globe, and we are so thankful that this day is here. You know, Mr. E, at one time, you could just be on the radio and just go out to a few, but it is in this day and time, it's so where you can reach the whole wide world.
That's right. Don't have to go nowhere. I want to let folks know also, Miss Cynthia, we can be heard in Iraq, Iran. We can be heard in Russia.
Anyway,
Anywhere the internet is, you can catch this live broadcast all over the world.
yes, we're very excited about that. But we're also excited about Cristo Community Development Corporation, our community against bullying, a call to action now.
That's October.
See, I just got back here from the ATL. It is just amazing how, God puts people in your pathway. I remember when I was first starting this movement. As a matter of fact, I almost feel as though I've stumbled across it because I was doing a anti-drug and tobacco for youth for 5 years, hired by the state. And while I was doing that, and I tell people this all the time, that's when I became aware of this thing called bullying.
Yeah.
So much so, Mr. E, that I had to do something. And the first thing I did was pick up a piece of paper and a pen, and I started writing. Bullying is right underneath your nose. And so I began to not only do that, but I felt as though I had to bring people together uh, and find out how in the world could we solve this problem. Now, the thing about it, everything just fell into place because as I began to talk to people began to talk about bullying. And I
Yeah.
was like, wait a minute, what? You what? Parents, teachers, uh, friends, just everywhere, all of a sudden it just seemed to come out of the woodwork. And it's the same thing that I experienced this weekend, Mr. E, in Atlanta on my way home in the airport, meeting a mother, a woman that actually worked in the airport. And she started talking about her daughter, who is 12 years old, who is experiencing bullying and has tried to commit suicide 2 times.
Wow.
And so, you know, it is not far fetched for me to say that this is divine because everything is coming together. When we first started this movement, we had senators, we had mayors, we had uh, teachers, counselors, parents, youth. We had all kind of people just coming together with activities that we had, like a dinner and a dialogue, pizza and a dialogue, our anti-bullying rallies, and they would come together to really find out how we could help. I met so many parents that it was just unbelievable how uh, we started connecting. And like I said, the same thing took place this weekend, and I knew we're on the right track.
You know, Miss Cynthia, when we started talking about bullying, bullying is everywhere. And that's one of the reasons why we want to help bring attention, so bring awareness, because we want people to understand that it is not just in your children, it's not just it's in adults also. You know, it's in cyberbullying. It's walking up and down the highways, in the grocery store. Folks don't like your clothes, may not like your smile, and they want to do something about it. It's not for them to dislike you, but it's for them to if they got any problem with you, why don't they go see the big bad God that created you? You know, when we look at bullying, we find that they go around picking on people for no reason. They don't like for some. They don't like what you have. They don't like the way you act. They don't like the food that you eat, and that you think that you look better than they are. You talk different than they do. You pronounce all of your words the right way, and they think that you're so smart. You'd be surprised at how many people that are sitting around Miss Hinton that's looking at people and jealous of them for no reason.
Mhm.
Listen, parents, we want to say this. We want to bring awareness to this, that your child don't want to go to school. Why? Your child don't want to go to school, and you know that you have a healthy son or you have a healthy daughter, and then all of a sudden they don't want to go to school. I'll tell you why, because somebody threatened your child. That some little boy done, we call it love tap. It ain't love tap. You got to get involved and go out there and see what's going on with your child that causes your child to pretend that they have a stomach ache, they have a headache, they don't want to go to school, they're afraid. It's something going on, and then they want to take and commit suicide. It's all over the world. My granddaughter, for example, was bullied because she had on red glasses. Yeah, red glasses. You say red glasses? Yeah, red eyeglasses that brought out her beauty, and eyeglasses that she loved, eyeglasses that she liked. But some folks said that she's trying to be different than anybody else, that she's trying not to be like everybody. No, she don't have to be. She's only being herself. And because she's only being herself, there are folk that don't like. And since folk don't like you, they begin to bogart their self and mess around and push their way through to cause friction and problems. Once again, good afternoon to Miss Denise Sherrod. How are you?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you
Very
fine. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. We're going to introduce Denise in a little while, but we want to make sure you all get the information. On October the 15th, Cristo Community Development Corporation is going to have our anti-bullying rally, our community against bullying, a call to action now. You know, Mr. E, it's been a minute because the pandemic, came into the land and it shut down so many things. Before the pandemic, we were on the ball with the anti-bullying rallies, dinner and a dialogue, pizza and a dialogue, all kind of things for our youth. And all of a sudden we had to back off of it.
Yes.
Now we're in recovery with the pandemic, and we're back in full force because guess why? This problem hasn't gone away. As a matter of fact, I think it's getting worse.
That's right.
So we want to make sure that we stay on it and that we continue to help people that are dealing with this problem. Like I told you all this weekend, met a young woman that worked in the airport. Daughter is suicidal. She's tried to commit suicide twice. And it is really funny, not funny, but how talking with this woman, all of a sudden, she's talking about a problem, and and I begin to talk to her about the problem of bullying, and she says this is exactly what's going on, and she just tells her life story and about her daughter and how she's at her wit's end. It reminds me of this young lady that we have on with us, and even though her daughter wasn't suicidal, Denise, when I talked with Denise for the first time about bullying and the things that she was going through, she had had a time trying to figure out what to do about her daughter and the fact that her daughter, didn't want to even go to school. She was trying to find all kind of remedies and solutions to the problem. And so Denise, she began to get with us, help us, and really bring great information about bullying and how she sought help and got it. Denise, I want to say good evening to you. I want you to tell people a little bit about yourself, but also tell them your story and how you had to seek help for this thing called bullying. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. There's a
Okay.
bit of an echo. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm gonna turn
Okay.
mine in. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you first of all for having me. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think she's on a delay.
Okay. Well, thank you first for having me.
You can turn your feed down if you want to. We can still hear you. You don't have to have it up loud. You can turn it
Okay,
down
how's
some.
that?
So okay.
That's
Is
great.
that better?
That's
Yes.
Okay. Um, so you can hear me fine.
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Um, well, I know that when I first realized that my daughter was dealing with being bullied, it was based on the color of her skin. Um, and unless you are a parent that really pays close attention to your child's behavior, you tend to miss what is obvious. And um, so I started to notice that she was having a change of behavior when it came to her school because she absolutely loved going to school. But then she started not wanting to go to school. She was starting to make up excuses about why she didn't feel like going. She didn't want to get up. And so I took her to the doctor to make sure that there was nothing physically wrong with her first, just to be clear. And they had diagnosed her with being depressed. I had no idea why she was depressed because she wasn't talking to me. She wasn't telling me anything. Um, and then I started to notice her and
That's Miss Denisha Rod. You
she
kept up
wasn't,
with it? Okay.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. She wasn't as happy as I was used to her being. She was more sad, quiet, subdued. So a lot of times parents need to pay attention to the behavior because body language is a lot louder than what they will verbalize. So as I started to pay attention to her lack of energy and the fact that she didn't want to go to school, it got to the point where because I was driving her to school every day because she couldn't ride the bus because of the bullying. That's one of the worst places that children experience bullying is on the bus. Um, I would pull up to the front of the school and she would burst into tears because she just didn't want to get out of the car.
Mm.
And so then I started to ask more detailed questions. Why don't you want to go to school? What's happening? Is there anything you want to tell me? And so I found out that there was a young man in the school in particular who was bullying her extremely. He was always in her personal space. He would get close enough to her face that she could feel his breath on her.
Mm.
And there are other people in the classroom. Nobody stood up for her. Nobody would, intervene. The worst part about it was the teacher even made a statement that I'm not going to get involved unless I see blood.
Mm. Oh, wow.
And so again, she she wasn't protected.
Absolutely.
So when I tried to intervene through the school system, the solution they came up with, because it was so close to her graduating, was that they would homeschool her. And I said, well, why would you do that? But they also suggested that she drop out and get her GED. And I said, why would you force her out of school when she's the one who's being bullied? Because as I found out, it was just easier for them to do it that way than to have to deal with the bully and his family. So I had to fight the school to allow her to go and to be able to graduate along with her class. And I refused the possibility of her dropping out and getting her GED. I said, no, if you're going to homeschool her, which they ended up doing, they homeschooled her, but she was still able to march with her class.
Wow.
But what I found out was, and this is the thing that most parents are not aware of, is that the school nurse had all of the resources to deal with an anti-bullying situation. When the school nurse found out about it, but who I happened to have been friends with, and she was the nurse at the high school, she was able to get the resources together to give my daughter the opportunity to graduate without any issues. They then also moved her from the classroom that the young man was in so that there was no further contact.
Wow.
But at
How long did
first,
it take,
they just
Denise?
wanted to move her out of the school
Mm-hmm.
and just allow him to continue to just go to school like nothing was wrong.
Wow.
Hmm.
And
Denise, how long did it
so
take for you to?
what I had found out too, that there were other classmates who, one young lady came to school with a gun, a loaded gun, and she was going to commit suicide in the bathroom
Oh
because
my.
she had been bullied.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Wow.
one of my
Wow.
daughter's friends.
Yes.
Wow.
And
Denise?
she mentioned it to one of her classmates that she had the gun, and she went to the bathroom. And once the teacher got word of it, they went to the bathroom to try to stop her. But the thing was, nobody was informed about the young lady having a gun in the school.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of kept it under wraps.
Okay.
And she was allowed to come back to school the next day.
Wow. Wow.
So I've had several young people who were in that same high school who have had those suicide tendencies
Yes.
because they were being bullied. But the
Yes.
thing was, and my sister and I were just talking about that before I came on the air, that one of the most important parts about preventing your child from being bullied is that you make yourself present at the school.
Yes.
As a parent, they need to see you. They need to know who you are. Most students are bullied even by teachers because the kids' parents are never present. There
Yes.
was a conversation in one of my daughter's classrooms with one of the teachers, and I had a confrontation with the teacher because she made a comment to the entire class. Well, I know that we have a parent teacher conference, but I'm not expecting any of your parents to come. They're probably smoking weed somewhere.
Oh wow.
And my daughter came home and told me that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went up to the school
Mm.
and I confronted the teacher in front of the principal and the vice principal. And I told her, how dare you just
Yes.
assume that because these kids are from public housing, everybody's parents are not on drugs or alcohol.
Absolutely. Yes.
But a lot of the
Absolutely.
kids are also bullied by their teachers
Yes.
because they think that they don't have a support system.
Wow. That is absolutely the truth. Denise, can you kind of tell us how you feel about bystanders? Because that's an element, that's a group that we don't address too much, but we're going to be addressing the bystanders, those that know what's going on but won't do a thing about it. Can you tell me how you feel about those that do just sit around and like, hey, whatever? What can be done about that?
Okay, about what part again?
Bystanders, people that know what's
Oh
going
yeah,
on.
that's listen. I noticed I've experienced that a lot in the community that I was in charge of. The bystanders are just exactly like the one who's being bullied. They're afraid to stand up. And what they don't realize is that the strength comes in numbers,
Mhm.
but they don't see themselves as a group. They see themselves as individuals. So each of them are afraid of that same bully.
I have a
Wow.
I have a question for you, Denise. When your child was being bullied, how did it make you feel deep on the inside? Was you ready to go hood rat, or how did it make you feel? And because your baby is now being bullied and afraid to go to school, and she wanted to commit suicide and things of that nature, what gut feeling did you have, and what did you want it to do?
The first thing I can say is that I felt guilty because I thought I should have seen it before it got as bad as it did. I thought that I was more aware as a parent. So guilt was the first thing that I had to deal with. And then I was angry because I wanted to just go after the bully. I wanted to go after the bully and his family. But I also wanted to make sure I did it in a correct manner so that it would be beneficial to her, not to make school harder for her. If I would go up in there acting crazy, cussing, fussing, wanting to fight people, I wanted to do it right so that it was beneficial to her and for anybody who came after her.
Wow,
How do
wow.
you feel about the parents of bullies? Did you ever confront a parent that was, that had a child that was a bully, that made your daughter's life, harder? Did you ever have to go toe to toe with a parent or try to get an understanding about, this child is causing my child a lot of frustration and anxiety?
I've had I've had those situations that I had to do conflict resolution even within the community about bullying. And most of the time, the parents of the bully don't know that their child is bullying.
Okay.
Do
A lot
you
of
really
times they don't know.
do you really think that there are parents out there that don't know that they got some bad children, don't know that their children out there uh, is raising havoc on somebody else's child? Or do you think that these parents think that their children, don't do no wrong? Because I look at a lot of parents, I look at a lot of children, and I see Johnny being a hell raiser. I know their mama and their daddy is a hell raiser because they're just a carbon copy of what they see at home. And where do they get it from? What causes them to act that way? When you found out that your child was being bullied, that your child didn't want to live, that your child did your child feel like that she wanted to retaliate back? And how long did it take for her to recover?
Well, the first part of your question is the answer to that is that most people don't know what bullying really looks like. If a parent, if a parent, and I've seen this time and time again, if a black kid on their way out the door for school, that's normal.
Yes.
If the child is being cursed out first thing in the morning before they go to school, that's normal.
Yes.
But where
Okay.
is that child going to take that when they get to the school?
Mm,
Absolutely.
mm. I think she's freezing.
Uh-huh. I think Denise is freezing, but we're
Yeah.
gonna try to, get her back. Um,
So a lot of the times
yeah, for
when
right. Mhm.
Can we get you, Denise, to change positions, please?
when you say to
Oh,
another,
okay, we're gonna see if we can get Denise to actually.
Change
Um,
positions.
let's see. Let's see. We're gonna remove her from the stream, and I'm gonna ask her to come back into. Okay.
What a great topic. We sitting here talking with Miss Denise Sherrod, whose child has been bullied. I
Uh-huh.
mean, one of the things that you got to understand is that when your child has been bullied, and she said there are some things that she would have liked to do, altercations, want to get down to the real nitty gritty. Yeah, we want to do that, but then there'll be who will be right and who will be wrong. So we got to handle bullying in a diplomatic way. We got to look at both ends. We got to look at the right side of it, and we got to look at the wrong side of it. We got to look at what's going on and how can we deal with it, Miss Hinton. We got to make sure that we are in the right frame of mind, because no parent wants to see that their child has been picked out to be picked on for no reason whatsoever. So we want to invite you all to come out to October the 15th at 1765 South Military Highway for our community, for a call to action now.
Our community against bullying. A
Action
call
now.
to action
Our
now.
community
Mhm.
against bullying. A call to action now.
Yes.
That's October the 15th at 1765 South Military Highway. You don't want to miss it. It's at 11 o'clock. It's going to be pandemonium out there. We're going to have pizza and a dialogue. We're going to have wild and out. We're going to have great speakers that's going to be out there. We're going to have music. We're going to have fun. And we're going to get you you can get an opportunity to learn and to know about how you can recognize and how do people feel when they get into these different predicaments. You
Absolutely.
know, some children, and I want to drop this in y'all today. I said it earlier, that there are so many gang members out there. They don't want your child they want your child from the ages of 8 until 16. Yeah. From 8 to 16, they want your child. And the reason why the age stopped at 16 is because now they're being tried as an adult. They want your child because he's in the juvenile. What happens to juvenile? They go to juvenile court. They get spanked on their hands, and then they be set back out with their parents. So what consequences do they have? So there is no consequences. They come out to do the same thing. They get jumped into the game, and now they got to get jumped out of the game because guess what? When your child turns 17 years old, he's now old enough to go to big boy jail. Well, he's already in there. He's already in penitentiary because he's been tried as a murderer. He's been tried as a thief. He's been tried in several forms. So listen, watch out for your children. Look both ways at your child. Look up and down. Watch him as he shelter himself, as he get quiet. Because it's right there. So join us October the 15th at 1765 South Military Highway from 11 o'clock. You don't want to miss what's going on. Don't forget to tell them about that banner competition.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mr. E, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, keep on.
Don't forget to tell them about, we got a banner competition that's going on. That's going to be there at our bullying event on October the 17th. You want to get a group of your children together. Listen, they can win some money. Your group can win some money. Yeah, they can win some money. First prize is $150. Second prize is $100. Third prize is $75. That's our banner competition. And you want to make sure that your young men, your group, that's right, your group, not a one-man show, your group walk around the place with their banner. And we'll have judges there that's going to be judging each banner. Don't forget the best banner. We already got whiff of someone down at our boys club won't say they're going to take it.
Well, I tell you what, Mr. E, it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of people there who's going to talk to us about bullying and what we can do in the community. We're going to have Senator Lionel Spruill there. We're going to have Leslie Smith, who's running for city council. We're going to have Chesapeake Police Department. They're going to be there representing a whole lot of other folk. Now, I want you all to understand something. A rally is always, coming together and speaking up and speaking out. But I promise you that Cristo Community Development Corporation ain't all about just a hoorah time. We're talking about solutions. And that was one of the reasons for my visit in Atlanta, coming together to build a system that's going to help this issue and help parents and help teachers and help the schools, because this is a problem that needs to be dealt with. And like I said, though we are shouting out and speaking out at a rally, it doesn't stop there. We have to build a machine in order to get this thing under our feet. Just like Denise said, it is a big problem. It was a big problem for her family. It's a big problem for the community and other families and schools. People are at their wits' end because now you're talking about the extreme. We're not talking about hitting a piece of stick off your shoulder or licking your tongue, up your middle finger, honey. This is war. This is something that has to be handled and cured and solved. So Denise, go ahead. If you can hear us, go ahead and finish telling us some of the things you did again that helped your situation.
The best thing that happened, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The best part of the situation was first to have a conversation. It's important to talk to someone about it and just not assume that you're helpless and not try to fight for your child, because your child cannot fight for themselves in most cases. The school is never too big, in my opinion, that you can't fight against bullying. And as the part that Mr. E asked me, when you might want to have to confront the child's parents, it does take that. But if it's handled in a way that is not a combative type of attitude where they think that you're an enemy coming at them, but that you
Yes.
want to, just as a parent, to resolve the issue. If you come to them in a manner that is, hey, let's just sit down and have a discussion and figure out how to fix this.
Yes.
And most parents are giving and willing to work the situation out if it's handled that way. If you're one of those parents and your child is being bullied and you go at the other child's parent and you want to fight, that's not going to resolve anything.
Mhm.
All it does is make the situation worse, because then they end up in some situations, they've gone into the school and they fought. Some
Mhm.
adults have jumped on somebody else's child because they've been bullied or whatever. So, it's all in the way that you handle the situation. But also, as I found out, the school nurses, they have people in place, not always the guidance counselor,
Mm.
that have information, real information on dealing with bullying. They just don't give that information to the parents. I don't know
Wow.
why, but they
Wow.
have resource information that helps to deal with bullying.
Mhm.
They have even at Oscar Smith in particular, Oscar Smith High School, Chesapeake, have an anti-bullying program in place. Now, I don't know what that all entails,
Yes.
but it does. They do have an actual program there, because there have been so many, and people don't know there are so many suicide attempts at the school,
Yes.
and people are not told. The parents are not told. The school system don't share that information.
Mhm.
They keep all that stuff under wraps, and only the parent of the child who's the victim, who tried to kill
Mm.
themselves, is the only one who's told.
Absolutely. Denise, how did you get your breakthrough? I mean, how's your daughter doing? Does she reflect on some of the things that happened? How did you all come out of it?
One of the things that she did was that she took her trauma, because she took her trauma and turned it into a positive by
Mm.
reaching out to other kids who were also bullied. She
Mhm.
created a magazine that
Mhm.
allowed these same children to have a voice. And so she also reached out, and these are children from all over the world who have, which was shocking to me, children, I mean, other countries who are being bullied.
Yes.
And so she gave them a voice. And as she gave them a voice, it gave her more strength and empowerment for her own self, because she knew that she wasn't alone.
Yes.
And one of the things that she's working on, that she hopes to do, is to take it to the schools, to
Mhm.
make it so that there's a program where the young people can connect, so that
Yes.
if there is a bullying situation, that these kids will come out and together and try to do something about the conflict so that it can be dissolved.
Yes.
Because in a lot of the cases, as I have experienced personally, when a child is being picked on, if there's a child who's being egged on to fight someone, they really don't want to fight.
Right,
Absolutely.
right, right.
They really don't want to fight. They're just being pushed because they got this whole crowd standing around them, and they taking videos with their cell phones, and they don't really want to fight. So they need somebody that's willing to stand in the middle of it and say, "Look, just stop."
Absolutely. Do
And so
you?
she's trying to uh, do a program so that there are kids in place in every school
Mhm.
who will be those people who will stand in the middle and say, "No, you're not going to fight today."
Wow. Yes. I
But
tell you what.
yeah,
Mhm.
she has been, and she had therapy. Yes, she had to go
Yes.
get therapy done, because she had to deal, and I had to have therapy done, because it really did something to me as a parent, because I felt helpless at some point where I should have known. Well, I felt like I
Wow.
just should have known, and nobody wants to know that you send your child to school or on a school bus, you trust the system to protect them,
Mm.
and they're
Yes.
not being protected. So it just
Amen.
makes you feel bad.
Absolutely. It is a big problem. And on October the 15th, we're going to address it. And we're going to address it again. And we're going to find the solution and the remedy. And we're going to ask leaders and teachers and parents and students to help us to find a way to keeping our children safe.
That's right.
Denise said it just exactly the way it should be said. There are people that don't stand up and people that do not protect the weak. Now, a bully goes after a certain type. He wants the weakest. He wants that one that's either handicapped or different or have a low self-esteem, or that cry baby, that sad baby, that person that is not connected to a good family structure. He wants that one that won't talk or speak out, and he wants to torture and torment and take and break down the esteem of this person. It's not just a start, just starting and finish. Bullies can go years and years with you,
Right.
just making your life a living hell. And so we want to stop that cycle. We want to make sure the schools, because Denise was saying that's the buses and the schools are some of the places where it is really, it grows and it's fertilized. Because why? You don't have enough teachers and people to supervise every child. And so it becomes a problem because children are not able to get the protection that they need. And so we're going to come together. And Ann Miles, what did Ann Miles say? Ann Miles is chiming in, Mr. E. I want to read some of her comments. She said, I see athletes bully cheerleaders to force them to become gay. She says that, she said, but when you see the cover up, it's hard not to react. And so, people in the school system like Ann has seen so many things. They see it firsthand. And sometimes you can talk to your leaders, your principals and things, and they feel helpless. They feel like, hey, I can't do anything about it. Well, it'll go away. Or, well, it's just a phase. Well, I don't have nothing to do with that. Call your nurse, your somebody that don't really, know, or they may know and not be able to resolve some of these big problems. And so we need everybody to come together.
That's
because,
right.
like I said, when I meet parents that are talking the children being suicidal and have attempted their life to kill themselves twice, or where the child is cutting themselves, or doing something, or being jumped in a gang and against their will, we have a job to do. And I want to say thank you to Denise for coming on. Like I said, when Denise and when we came together, she was really instrumental in, telling us from a parent's point of view how bad this problem is. And so, Denise, I want to just say thank you for bringing the awareness as a parent. And not only that, trying to find ways and try to find solutions to this problem.
Can I just interrupt you for, okay, two things that you mentioned. Number one, when you described what type of victim that the bully goes after, you also described the bully.
Woo!
Because that same person, that's the reason why they're a bully. Because they are the weak person. They're the crybaby. They're the one who their parents or uncle or cousin have told them that you're not worthy, that you're, so you describe the bully when you describe the victim.
Yes. Wow. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that is the truth.
Right. And the second thing is that we're really so into trying to fix the situation with the victim that we forget about the bully.
Absolutely.
They are the ones that need the hug.
That's
or
right.
Need to be told I love you, or need to be told you matter. That's why they bully.
Yes.
Because they're not getting what they need.
That's right. That's right.
So we forget that we need to deal with the bully.
Absolutely.
And you're right, because both sides need it. Both sides need someone to love on them, to let them know that they are somebody. The bully he needs that attention. They need that attention because they're not getting that attention where they want to get it from. You
Yes.
know, I used to look at this boy next door, and he loved being over my house. He loved mean as a popsicle stick, but loved to be over our house, because he said that he saw the love that we had in our house. You know, I used to love to go to their house because they had all the fine furniture and richy rich, but he wasn't happy because he was not getting the love. So he became a bully, went to penitentiary. Now he's in jail and can't get out no time soon. So, you know,
Wow.
I'm saying that we got to find the solution. The solution, says to me, is on both corners. The bully and the folk that he bullied, they all need love also.
Absolutely. So
let
I
me
tell
just
you what.
share. Let me
Go ahead,
share
Denise.
something with you.
Uh-huh.
There was a young man. There was a young man that invaded our community. He was 21 years old. He completely terrorized an entire neighborhood.
Wow.
He would go to other neighborhoods and wreak havoc and cause problems, and those people would come from those other neighborhoods over to our neighborhood looking for him, shooting up the place, literally shooting up the neighborhood behind this one young man who's 21.
Hmm.
And I was the only person, and God for let me just say straight up, it wasn't me, it was totally God
Hmm.
that directed me to deal with this young man. Everybody else was terrified of him, scared to death. He
Yeah.
even got shot in his leg out there.
Oh, wow.
And I was, for whatever the reason, I guess I was just fed up with the whole thing. And I approached him. I just called him over to me. I said, "Come here for a minute. Can I talk to you?" He was with with a bunch of other guys, and I didn't care who he was with. I just needed to deal with him because
Yeah.
it was just so horrible that people were scared to come outside because of the trouble that he was causing. One person, 21.
Hmm.
So I had a conversation with him. I pulled him to
Yeah.
the side and I just talked to him and I said, "What is it that you need? What are you looking for? What's going on with you? You don't work anywhere. You're not in school. You're young. You know, you're able-bodied. You could be working somewhere. Let's just figure out what we can do for you." And I
Yes.
was able to get him to sit down and talk with a minister friend of mine. And before even that conversation, he was 21 dating a 14-year-old girl in my
Mm.
neighborhood.
Wow.
Her mother was at work and she didn't even know that her daughter was seeing this boy. They were having all kinds of parties in this girl's house against the mother's permission. He was just doing all kinds of stuff out in the neighborhood, and I just couldn't deal with it no more. I said, "Look, what can I do to help you? What is it that you are looking for? What you want?" And so
Yes.
we were able to work some things out with him. He ended up quitting, dating the little girl, and he left and went to a whole nother neighborhood.
Wow.
We never saw him again because he knew that I was not going to allow him to stay out there and not get involved in his life.
Yes.
I just made it my business. I was gonna hunt him down until he got himself together.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
And that reminds me of how neighborhoods used to be, and
That's right.
neighbors, they would get involved in the lives of children and they would chastise them and they would tell mama, and some of them got spankings by the neighbors. And we had a handle on our kids, and now people are more afraid. People, Mr. E always talk about the elderly or adults that don't want to come outside their door. Is so dangerous. And so we have to make sure
That's right.
our children can flourish, make sure we can build their esteem. I always say this, that Cristo Community Development Corporation develops young leaders, and we can't do it with all this bullying and all this
No, you
gang
cannot.
violence and all this stuff, and people don't care and people standing by. We're not going to be able to really build young leaders, because the minute they go out the door, you got somebody trying to pull them down.
That's
And
right.
trying to tear up their esteem. But we want to thank you again, Denise. We're getting ready to give our information again. I just want to say thank you for taking your precious time, honey, and being a part of what we do. Thank you so much. Mr. E, please give them the information again on the date, October the 15th, and also the banner competition.
Our Community Against Bullying, a call to action now. That's October the 15th at 11 a.m. at 1765 South Military Highway in the beautiful city of Chesapeake, Virginia. And for more information, you can call 757-420-0224. That's 757-420-0224. That's October the 15th at 11 a.m. Our Community Against Bullying. Our Community Against Bullying, a call to action now. And it's at 11 a.m. Saturday morning at 1765 South Military Highway in Chesapeake, Virginia. Don't forget to register. All you have to do is call us at 757-420-0224 and say, I would love to register in the banner competition. Listen, the banner, the first 3 good banners that are out there, you can win $150 for first place, $100 for second place, and $75 for third place. That's right. You walk around with your banner and let the judges see your banner, and your school that you represent, your club that you represent, can walk away with $150 for first prize. Now, we don't have a lot of people been calling us and letting us know that they come to win all the goods that's out there. They come to win the $150. They're working on a banner, their banners now. And we want to say congratulations to Tanner's Creek. They won 1 year and still have the trophy in Tanner's Creek Elementary School. Don't forget to join us. That's October the 15th at 11 a.m. Our Community Against Bullying, a call to action now. That's 1765 South Military Highway in the city of Chesapeake, Virginia. Don't forget, and for more information, you can call us at 757-420-0224.
Absolutely. We want to say thank you. We got to go, but we'll join you all back here on Monday. Join us
do
here.
A great job. Keep it up.
Thank you so much, Denise, again. All you out there, thank you for chiming in. We'll come back on next week and share with you all again. God bless you. Good night.
Just before we go, Denise, who's going to win tonight? The Cowboys?
It won't be you.
I tell you what, I'm gonna go and find out right now. I'm gonna look at the game.
Watching. I'm gonna watch. One eye open, one closed, but I'm gonna watch.
Two up.
God bless y'all.
Yeah.